You know, there's a creature out there with an incredible secret, one that's probably hiding right under your feet. It's an insect that lives a complete double life. It's a tale of a patient, hidden hunter and a beautiful, winged adult. This is the amazing story of the antlion.
So maybe you've been on a walk, somewhere dry and sandy, and you've looked down and noticed these perfect little cone-shaped pits. They almost look like tiny little craters, don't they? Perfectly sculpted. But what on earth is making them?
Well, these aren't just random holes in the ground. Nope. Each one is a carefully designed trap, the work of a tiny architect who's waiting just beneath the surface. So who is this hidden artist? In North America, this little builder has a really charming nickname, the doodlebug. And it gets that name because of the wandering, squiggly trails it leaves behind in the sand when it's looking for just the right spot to build. Kind of like an artist's little doodles, right?
A doodlebug sounds pretty harmless and cute, but that name is actually hiding the identity of a fierce and incredibly patient predator. So what is this creature really, and how does it make these flawless little traps? All right, let's pull back that curtain of sand and meet the mastermind behind this whole operation.
And here it is. This is the antlion larva. Yeah, it might look like something from a sci-fi movie with those huge jaws, but it's usually no bigger than your fingernail. This little guy is our architect and our hunter. That name, antlion, is just perfect. It actually comes from two Greek words, one for ant and one for lion. So it's quite literally the lion among ants, a top predator in its own tiny world. Every part of this larva's body is a perfectly designed tool for survival. It's got this plump abdomen that anchors it in the sand and a flattened head that works just like a shovel. And those giant sickle-shaped jaws, oh, they aren't just for grabbing. They're actually hollow, and it uses them to inject a venom that paralyzes its prey, and then it just drinks the liquefied insides. Even those bristles all over its body have a job. They're super sensitive vibration detectors. The way it builds its trap is just fascinating. First, the antlion finds a spot with nice, loose, dry sand. Then it starts walking backward in a circle that gets tighter and tighter, using that flat head like a little shovel to flick sand out of the way. It keeps going until a perfect cone is formed, and then it buries itself at the very bottom with only those deadly jaws sticking out. And then it waits, with incredible patience. Buried and totally still, it's using those sensory bristles to feel the world above, just waiting for the tiny vibrations of an ant walking a little too close to the edge of its pit. So once that trap is set, the waiting game begins. And as we're about to see, this little hunter has an unbelievable amount of patience. Get this, the antlion can spend 1 to 3 years in this larval stage. I mean, think about that. That's years of just waiting. It might go for days or weeks, maybe even months without a single meal, just sitting there at the bottom of its pit. So when some unlucky ant finally does tumble in, the loose sand gives way and it just slides right down to the center. And if the prey tries to scramble out, the antlion will actually flick sand at it to knock it back down. Then it grabs it with those powerful jaws, pulls it under the sand, and the hunt is over. But this life of waiting in the sand isn't the whole story. Not even close. After years as a larva, the antlion is getting ready for a complete and total change. So what it does is it wraps itself up in a little spherical cocoon that it makes out of silk and grains of sand. It creates its own little hidden chamber, right there on the soil, totally protected from the outside world. Inside that little sandy sphere, a truly incredible transformation happens. The plump, fierce hunter basically dissolves and reforms itself, getting ready for a brand new way of life. And when it finally emerges, it's a completely different creature, one that leaves the sand behind forever for a new life up in the air. And here is the incredible result. The armored, ground-dwelling predator emerges as this, a slender, fragile, and winged adult. I mean, it is almost impossible to believe they are the same animal. This is the antlion's second act. The difference between the two stages is just mind-blowing. Look at this. It goes from a plump, armored hunter to a slender, fragile flyer. Its diet completely switches from eating other insects to just sipping nectar and pollen. And the most shocking part? After living for up to 3 years as a larva, the adult only survives for about a month.
Now, adult antlions are often mistaken for damselflies, but there's a super easy way to tell them apart. Just look at the antennae. Antlions have these long, obvious antennae with a little club at the end. Damselflies, they have really short, bristle-like antennae. Plus, you'll notice antlions are much weaker, more fluttery flyers.
So its short life as an adult is this beautiful, frantic dance. It's mostly active in the evenings, fluttering around low plants, and it's focused on just one thing, finding a mate and laying eggs in the perfect sandy spot to start this incredible story all over again.
So let's just recap that whole incredible journey. It starts as an egg laid in the sand. It hatches into that predatory larva that we call the doodlebug. Then it transforms inside a pupal cocoon, and finally it emerges as the winged adult. A true 4-stage marvel. So the next time you see one of those perfect little funnels in the sand, you'll know the incredible tale of 2 lives that it represents, the patient, hidden hunter waiting below, and the delicate winged creature it is destined to become.